Triple Shot Mindset. All right, we have our caffeine. Now,
I finished mine.
wait, you finished it?
I chugged it.
What the heck, dude?
That's the problem with you. You don't enjoy the journey, dude.
Oh, perfect segue, Kevin. Perfect.
You don't enjoy the journey. You don't enjoy the experience. Every single one is an experience, dude. It's like, I'm done. Next.
And this is a metaphor, I believe, for potentially other aspects of life.
I don't think so, but go ahead.
No, I want to hear why you don't think so. Why don't you think so? You think you
For
like
me?
Well, look.
You had your mimosa in one shot.
So did you, though, so.
Because I want to be just like him. I'm like, okay, you know what? If he's going to order another one, I want to be on track to have another one. So I chugged mine because he's chugged his.
That's exactly how I am with my best friend.
Your coffee or your tea, you chugged it. Why don't you enjoy it, dude?
When you
Savor
drive,
it.
you go from point A to point Z as fast as humanly possible, which I think is great if the objective is to get there quickly, which it usually is. But what if the objective is to enjoy the journey?
Even if that's not if you're not going to the airport or your kid is not sick, you can drive normal and look around and enjoy. But you don't.
Tell us why. Tell us everything.
Like, what is waiting for you?
Yeah. What is at the destination?
I don't know how I'm wired, though. You know, this is a problem with me. But if I'm behind a stoplight, right, and there's two cars on either side of me, and as soon as it turns green, I have to win. I don't know why. I'm not 12 years old. No, don't.
You're 16. Yeah,
no.
that's exactly what you are.
No, don't go there, okay?
You're 16.
But I'm like that with every other aspect of my life. I don't know why.
You're competitive.
But it's to an unhealthy place that when, like, my brother's driving and he's stuck behind a cement truck, I'm like it's killing me. I'm like, dude, like, why do you put yourself in a position that, like, you have to be, like, behind someone? Why do you let someone else who's driving kind of pace you? Like, that is his story of his life, for example. Right?
And that's exactly what that's the story of your life. You're stuck behind slow people.
You
never
let other people
You're never a leader. You're a follower.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's my problem. I need to lead. I need to be the one that takes that turn the first. You know, everyone else can get behind me. If I'm behind someone, I cannot stand being behind someone else. I don't know why. Because I'm kind of mentally like, I'm now following their lead. I am following their direction. I'm following their scarcity or whatever. And I'm behind them if they're driving slow because they're, oh, God forbid, I'm going over 42 miles an hour. I'm like, I'm letting her fears, her limitations affect me and affect how much time I'm going to have with my kids or affect how soon I get to my place. So I don't like that. I don't like to be a follower. I don't like to follow people who are better than me, faster than me.
You guys see this guy eat.
I have.
Like, as if the mission is to empty that plate quick and just walk away. I'm done. Like, why?
Like a speed eating, like a hot dog eating
Like,
contest.
why do you put yourself through that? And then that becomes your model for your life.
I think as, you know, you're over 30. When you pass 35,
Oh, please.
all of a sudden things speed up, right?
He's your identical twin, and he just
Things
said,
speed
"Oh,
up.
please."
The time speeds up for some reason.
The time has been speeding up since I was born.
No, because you can still remember when you were 21 and what you had at Chipotle. I don't remember what I had last night for dinner.
So you sit around with your friends and everybody's having a drink and you chug yours because the time is going by fast.
Yeah.
But if you're there with them with the intention of being with them, why do you want to move yourself to a different timeline than they are on? If the objective is to connect, why do you intentionally do things that make you the odd man out?
I hate being the person that finishes their meal last. I hate being the person that people have to wait for to, like, say, come on, dude, hurry up. Like my youngest son is the opposite of my oldest son. My oldest son has to win. He has to be first out of the class. He has to be first out of the school bus. He has to be first out of camp. He has to be the fastest, smartest, whatever, right? And the other younger one, he is slow as a snail, right? So we go to the park, both of them run. Ryan goes up and does 12 rides before this one, like going up the first, ride. And I'm like, Darian, hurry up, dude. Hurry up. We got to be better in life. Like, this cannot be your pace through life. So when I think about who's going to be more successful, maybe I'm just passing judgment, or who's going to be a go-getter, I feel like the older one who's faster, who wants to win, who wants to be the first to finish whatever, he's going to have a better chance of being a multimillionaire than the younger one, because he just follows. Like, me and him sometimes go pick up the younger one, and all the kids, like there's like 30, 40, 50 kids come out of the camp, and I'm like, where's Darian? And like, we're looking, he's just coming slowly, the last person.
You know what?
Which in a way it's good.
He is enjoying the journey.
Right. In a way it's good.
You've never heard slow and steady wins the race?
I think that only works
No,
in certain...
No, it works everywhere.
Consistency. I mean,
let's say Michael Jordan.
Sports is different. Sports is about performance, physical. But between the two of you, you could say that Kevin has a more paced tempo and you have an accelerated tempo, and you're both equally successful in your way. Like, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, sure.
And you end up in the same place doing the same things. Yeah. So can we really say that just because you have a one way of living is going to guarantee your success?
But if he's speeding up to catch up to me, or am I slowing down to follow his pace?
Oh.
We don't know that.
So would you say the speed is a way of compensating for all the times you've slowed down before? It's like,
maybe.
Nah, I've got to be fast now.
Okay, I don't buy any of this.
No one's selling it. No one's selling it, bro.
Okay, it looks like you're selling it. Time is not going by. Yes, as you get older, you realize time is precious. Okay? But that doesn't mean you have to ruin a day out with your friends, chug your drink like the second they put it in front of you, and just sit there like, are we going anywhere? No. Are you going to the airport? No. So why do you do that to yourself?
Sometimes you got to get certain things out of the way, right?
That's the thing. Get it out of the way. Like everything in life, you don't get it out of the way. You enjoy it. Like, oh God, I got to hang out with my mom today. Let me just go quickly get it out of the way. How about I'm going to go enjoy an afternoon with my mom. And I hope it lasts longer than I imagine it to last, so I can enjoy it more. If it's a checkbox mentality, get home, okay, home. Pick up kids, okay, done. Drink, done. Dated this chick, done. What's left, dude? Like, what is more out there that you are making time for when there's nothing? This is life. These are the steps of life.
I've read this many places. I've seen this theory being made that in the first half of your life, time goes on slower. Once you get to the top of that midlife and it starts going downhill, time goes by faster. And then so you have to fit more into your day many more times than you did when you were 22 years old.
I would understand if you wanted to go see the world, and this year, because you're older, you try to go on 3 vacations versus 2. I would get that. You try to see more places while you're still alive and healthy.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with how fast you wolf down a Big Mac, how quickly you chug a alcoholic beverage. Like, why?
Okay, I don't eat Big Macs that often. I just had to do it in Vietnam because I was so sick and tired of the fall. But
the way you ate it was like, dude, what's wrong with you? Enjoy
you want to get out of the way, dude? You want to get out of the way?
Out of the way to do what?
That's the question.
I don't know.
Where is the place for trying to go?
I don't know. But speaking of which...
No, don't. Before you go, for example, your Big Mac in Vietnam, you could have enjoyed it. One small bite, look around like, wow, I am here in Vietnam. Another bite. No. Not like, done. I'm saying enjoy.
I don't care how people were looking at me.
I don't care about people either. I'm saying you enjoy every experience in life. You're not enjoying it.
I think I hadn't had a decent meal.
How about today? When we had a drink, we hadn't had a... You can go...
I was thirsty. If you would have put water in front of me or an alcoholic beverage, I would have drank him the same
What about that?
pace.
Yes.
I was thirsty.
Okay. And when you drive fast?
Yeah. Yeah. Some people like to go slow.
I know.
And
I know.
steady.
Yeah.
Someone like to risk it all and just go fast.
And
Okay, let's go to like the women you want to date. You just want to skip over everything, and you just tell me, oh, you know what? I don't see her long term, so therefore I'm not gonna go on even one date. I'm not gonna have one coffee with her because. So how do you get to know people? If it's like fast forward, let me skip over it because here, don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? You skip over things, you fast pace through them, and you don't get to enjoy anything in life. But there's nothing more waiting for you on the other side once you're done with all these things that you're like, oh, thank God, I got that out of the way. Now I got time for this.
There are certain processes I like. Okay. If it's a person that has all the things on the check mark list that I'm looking for, then yes, I'm going to put in the time and effort to go through the growing whatever stages and learn about them and all that. Kevin, do you have to eat that, drink that right now? And then there's people that rub you the wrong way, just the tiniest bit, right? It could be that, for example, they have a high body count and you find that out in the initial chat. Okay, then therefore that person is not something you want to learn that much about and invest time and resources into. So you have to gauge to see who you want to have in your life, and if they match 95% of the things that you want, then yes, you pursue them and you let the process, go as it may. But if there are people that you don't see long term because they have other things on their list of red flags, then you want to just say, okay, let's just go through the motion. Let's just get a beep out of it and go to the next one. Right? So you don't put in the same amount of time and effort. The same thing, if a client pays you a lot of money, if it's an exciting project, you go through all the processes with flying colors, you take your time creating something that you're going to create. But if it's a cheap client who is angry all the time, who's in your business all the time, who is telling you how, slow you are, you just get off your plate as quickly as you can. So it has to be, so for me, my life is obviously great, right? Otherwise I wouldn't be here with you two.
Well said.
Yeah. So the speed of me driving, maybe I don't want to sit in a hot car behind an 18-wheeler on the 405 freeway for another 5 extra minutes because I'm trying to enjoy it. If it was the Pacific Coast Highway between Carmela and San Francisco, I would say, yeah, let's go slow. I mean, to me, you have to weigh the, destination. You have to weigh the client. You have to weigh the girl to see which one is worth the drawn out process and which one isn't.
Even when you go on a trip, your whole objection is, I can't wait until I get back.
Yes.
Back to what? And you go on a trip across the world, you spend all that money to go see somewhere you've never seen before. And the whole thing is you're counting down to when you go back.
Well, I'm counting down because I want to come back to my kids. Before I had kids, I would count down, for example, I'm a kind of person that I would like to leave as early as possible for my trip, let's say 6 a.m. to go to New York. If I'm coming back on a Sunday, I'm not going to wait till 6 o'clock at night to fly back. I want to be on the 6 a.m. flight from New York down back to LA because I want to make sure that at least I salvage the better half of my day.
What is waiting for you? Forget the kids. It's a given. But even when you did not have kids, that was your mentality.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Vegas.
I've gone to New York. Mm-hmm. Let me leave 2 nights so that I have another half a day of New York experience before I get on an airplane.
Everyone knows the last day of the trip. If you're in Vegas, for example, right? You got to get out at 11 o'clock. I don't want to lug around 3 suitcases and be in someone's back, in the back of a cab somewhere, just because, I'm going to enjoy the next 4 hours of me being in the back of a cab and trying to lug around suitcase.
And that's the problem.
I want to.
You don't see these things as a positive. You see it as negative.
Yeah. I can't do that. Like, there are times that you coming back from Las Vegas and you guys leave at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You get back at like 11:30 at night because you've spent 8 hours in the car, sitting in traffic, going to Cabazon, whatever these outlet stores are. You eat at McDonald's and you come back at 11:30 at night. To me, that 8 hours, I would rather do it in 4 hours, come back early in the morning, and just have the rest of my day to do laundry, to catch up on my rest, to read something, to write something. I think the last day of the trip is usually like, let's say you're in New York and at 7 o'clock at night, they say, ladies and gentlemen, the airplane's overbooked, like you can't get on. Or there's a, storm in the Midwest, we can't take off right now. You have to bump everyone to tomorrow. At least if you go at 6 a.m., you have 12, 15 other chances to get on the next plane.
Okay, but your mentality is a checkbox thing. I went to New York, check. Got home, check. It's not like, I'm here, I'm going to enjoy it. I always give my luggage to the hotel, say hang on to it. In 4 hours, we'll be back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
we'll grab it from you, go to the airport. You're like, okay. And you go experience the city. You see things.
But you could have seen it Friday or Saturday. But why see it Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, constantly looking at your watch? Oh, shoot, I got to go to LaGuardia.
Because it's better than waking up at 4 in the morning, saying, I got a 6 o'clock flight out of here. Like, God, I'm out of here. Goodbye.
What do you think, woman?
I can see both sides, and I'm for the first time having a realization. I'm seeing the introverted side of you and the extroverted side of Kevin, which is like interesting.
It's an oxymoron.
And maybe you are an introvert. As we're sitting here, I'm starting to think to myself, this whole time you've been an introvert who's just extroverted in close quarters. Whereas you, I think, are a genuine extrovert in that you like to go out and explore and interact with your world. To me, you sound like me when I'm in an introverted mood, which is I don't even really want to go on the trip. So if I do go on the trip, I want to get the fuck home as fast as I can because I didn't want to go to begin with. Yeah. I didn't want to leave to begin with. I don't want to go run an errand to begin with. I'd rather just be home. You sound like me when I'm tired. And you sound like me when I'm rested. If I'm rested and I've eaten and I'm happy, then I will take my sweet ass time, enjoy every moment of the journey. Don't care if the flight is missed and I sit in the airport like an adventure. We're going to have an adventure because the flight got delayed and now we get to, like we did in Vietnam, wander around we went to one side of, I think, the Taiwan, what was the Taipei airport?
Taipei, yeah.
To another, just to like cruise around and bask in the vibe. That's like a rested version of me. I feel like I'm an extrovert when I'm rested and an introvert when I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So I see both sides, and I guess it's personality in the end. To me, it sounds like you just want to be where you want to be. And if your heart's not really in it, you want to skip through it as fast as you can, which I totally get. I guess the question is, why is your heart not in it all the way? Maybe it's just your personality.
And to your point of introvert, extrovert, that's exactly the word I was going to tell him. Like, it sounds like you're an introvert. You want to get home to your safe space.
Yeah.
You may not want to go meet people because, oh my God, that's outside of my safe zone.
Which is not bad, by the way.
It's not bad. It is you. But then you make it sound like you are. So that's why then we have problems saying, well, if you want to meet so many people, go have some fun. Who cares if they're not a perfect match? Just have a coffee and come back. You would have just met a new friend. The worst case scenario.
But you're shy. You're an introvert.
But you don't want to do that. You want to skip over, like, you know what? No. Don't want to meet anybody. It's not worth my time.
I'd say a little bit of that is true, but not fully. Okay. Again, I don't like wasting my time because I think time is very, very precious, right? When him and I hang out, like his daughter is like listens and sits there and, doesn't cause any stress to my brother, right? He's sitting there working on his computer and she just, la, 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 I'm brushing the hair of this doll for 3 hours.
Wow.
Me,
it's an attention
imagine me trying to frigging get 10 minutes of work done, reply to a text message. I have to pretend I gotta poop, right? Go to the bathroom, sit down because they're gonna look under the door, like that little, space. They look through the door. Daddy, how come your pants are still on? Right? So I have to actually push the pants down to my ankles so they know that I'm
grunting sound.
pooping, right? Yes, I have to do that. And then that's the only time I get to reply to a text message or an email. Imagine doing that day after day after day for years. And you get to a point that every second that you have, you got to like make sure like you live it to the fullest. If I have to go to Costco and come back, I'm going to make it really quick.
Yeah, because you don't want to be at Costco.
Right. Or if I have to pick from like 5 women to be with for the next, X number of years of my life.
Together?
No, separately. I want to like on paper at least, or through my conversations over the phone or text message, eliminate some of them, right? That I know I may have an issue with it.
100%. Dude, if the lady is a night woman.
A lady,
of
of
course.
the night.
If it's a whore.
Whatever.
Sexually liberated.
Dude,
Sorry.
I'm talking about normal things. Like, I'm not talking about extremes. Extremes we all know. Normal things of meeting somebody for coffee, you don't want to do that because there's like all these hesitation.
If she lives, let's say, in San Diego or Palm Springs, I'm like, am I really gonna put in the effort to go to San Diego or Palm Springs every 3-4 days? No, I'm not. Right, let's just be real. I'm not going to do that. With the type of life I'm leading, it's never going to happen. Now, if she was down the street or like within like, half-hour drive at the most, I could do it. I could swing it.
The reason I call you an introvert in some ways,
I am, yeah.
is you will even find fault in the local ones. Like, oh, look at her dimple. That's kind of strange. No. To me, it's like...
the worst thing you can do, by the way, is
to
zoom in on someone's picture, like to a point that you can see like the...
Pores.
My point. You come up with every excuse not to enjoy life.
Sometimes it's because
You haven't asked for everything, by the way. And so, you know what?
I haven't asked for everything?
No, you haven't asked for everything. I'm saying, listen to this. This is good
smart
advice.
Person.
This is good advice. Slow down and smell the roses. Yeah. Look at everybody look at it as an investment. Look at it as something fun. Set aside like 4 hours. I'm going to spend coffee with this person. Don't look at your watch. Don't think about what you have to do afterwards. How many underwear you have to fold. Just go with it, dude. Enjoy. Once you start enjoying life, you'll see life is sweeter.
100% agreed. 100% agreed.
But
the only time I go slow in my life,
I don't want to hear that.
Is when I'm with my kids, right? I try to just like make the days as long as possible. Like I go sit down with them, I put my phone away. I'm present with them because I enjoy investing in them and vice versa.
Perfect.
Investing
the days
in
you're not
investing in a person just because it's a warm body and has 8 good qualities, it doesn't make me like excited to like let.
That's the thing. You diminish everything. I don't know why you diminish everything. I'm quickly gotta eat. Quickly gotta drink. Quickly gotta do this. Quickly, you're diminishing everything. I know the kids. Number one, given. Let's put that away. There are times you don't have the kids. There are times that you get to have some time to yourself. I'm saying during those moments, enjoy it the same way you enjoy. I'm not saying the same weight. I'm just saying enjoy it the same way. Say, you know what? I deserve to go out and have a drink. Let me enjoy this drink. Let me sip on it slowly so I can have conversation and we can laugh.
Man, I wish I could do that.
Come on, please.
You can.
If I'm in Cancun, I can't. Because I know there's nothing to be done. Internet sucks. I don't have my laptop. I don't have my kids. That I can I can get behind this really easy. But if I have my kids
we just talked about
ex-wife is dropping them off, tomorrow night.
What about when the kids are with your ex-wife for 3 days at a time? Let's say we're on day 1 of 3. So the kids are a
what are you worried about?
Well, that's why I've made plans today, tomorrow, and Sunday, right? Because I know that I'm going to have them, so I'm going to take my time a little bit. But when I know that I may see them tomorrow or tomorrow night, or they may get dropped off early or late or whatever, then I have to prepare for that. I have to go buy groceries. I have to clean their sheets.
I think I'm talking about more like 30,000 foot view than macro.
But I think
Macro.
But I think the devil's in the details.
You can say that all you want. I'm just saying.
It's the first time I've said it today.
Your lifestyle is, I'm not going to enjoy the moments. I'm always got to go somewhere, do something. I'm saying that is your life. The moments that you're skipping over quickly, that is your life. Enjoy those.
It sure is. You're right. I think it happened when Mom brought over that sheet of paper from Cal State Fullerton.
Oh,
I swear to God, for me, I know that's when it started happening.
dude, before that, you were flying to San Francisco 4 hours flat. Because you did not, you wanted to get there fast.
Listen, driving fast, I've always done that. Like, even the driving school teacher said you're going to die one of these days. The other stuff in my life that I take time with, I used to do that before Mom brought that thing over. And that had a profound effect on me. And for those of you who don't know.
Nobody knows.
Do you?
No.
So my mom was taking this a social studies class at Cal State Fullerton to become a credentialed teacher. This was like 20 years ago. And she came home one day and she said, you guys have to read this piece of paper. And it was a piece of paper that was photocopied so many times that there were so many dots on it and lines and whatever. And so she put it on the fridge and she went upstairs. And I started reading it and to me it was fascinating. And I told this to Kevin. He's like, whatever.
No, I got it, dude.
Okay. But I kept on reading it every time.
What was on it?
So it said in life, you got to choose who you want to be, right? And these are the characteristics of different levels of people, right? Socioeconomic mainly. So if you're content with month to month, living, you are probably spending your money on entertainment. You're spending your money on food. The quantity of food matters more than the quality of the food. The quantity of your parties and the number of people at your parties is more important than the quality of the people at your parties. And so it went from that level and said, you're probably working class, you're probably working a 9-to-5 job, or you have like a hourly blue collar job, right? And I'm like, the people I know who are actually that, yeah, it kind of makes sense. And the second one was middle of the road, like the middle class. It was more moderate, right? Like you don't spend as much on entertainment. Maybe you spend on traveling. Still some sort of an entertainment, but you still want to see the world, right? And and your parties are more smaller, better quality people. You indulge in McDonald's every once in a while, but you try to eat healthy, right? People on the highest end, was that you have a small limited number of friends, right? Very small that you can count on one hand. And each one of them are better than you in terms of either personality-wise or financial-wise or whatever, they're better than you. And because now you want to learn from them, you want them to pull you up. If you're in the other two, other people will influence you. In this one, you don't let other people influence you. You just get pulled up by the 3 or 4 or 5 people that you have around you. Your meals are smaller. They're meant to nourish, not to make you full. Your entertainment is no longer like you don't. In the other ones, you talk either about people. In the middle one, you talk about events. In this one, you talk about dreams and aspirations. So I'm like, I want to be this one, right? And so they don't waste time. They don't waste time in chit-chatting with people that don't have any. You don't have much of a connection with, or they can't pull you up, right? So I was reading this, and I read this at least 2-3 times a day for the 6-7 months I was up on our fridge. And I used to read this. I'm like, I want to be this one. And so when I was trying to, before I got married, I asked myself if this person, I literally asked this, is Nona, which one of them is she in, or which one of them does she strive to be in? And it matched with mine, right? You're going to have a small circle of friends that have to be handpicked as to who is going to be able to pull you up, who you can learn from, who will push you. So all those things to me was exactly how I want to live my life. Of course, the money was a good icing on the cake too, but it was like I shouldn't be eating like 2 Big Macs because I want to get full. I should have a smaller meal to nourish myself. I shouldn't have microwavable foods. That's why I don't have a microwave in my house. I should eat things that are freshly made, fresh, raw ingredients. That's how I lived my life. So when I go
can
out,
I ask you a question?
yeah.
What is that's great.
Mm-hmm.
What's that have to do with you chugging your drink this morning?
So, I mean, that's just a stupid behavior. I'm not saying this is the reason why, but I'm just saying for me, when you say like, I don't have many friends, I go through a list before I even meet them. I like eliminate 90% of them. Is it because I want to see which one of these people, and I've been wired this way now. It's not like it no longer is a choice. I've been wired this way, right? You two should be lucky to be sitting in my presence. Not just because we're paying you, but you guys are still here. But I'm very picky about the people I hang out with. I'm very picky about places I go, like how I spend my time and how I spend my time with people. So for you two, maybe different. Not to say you guys are in the other classes of whatever.
None
It has nothing to do with that. It's just like my mentality works. Like because I read that thing 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day for 7 months, like it got ingrained in my head that this is how I should be to be a better person.
Do know, if you don't go mining for diamonds, you're not gonna find them. Okay, not everybody's gonna say, "Oh, this is who I am," just by my little profile I've typed up. This is me.
But you can tell a lot by a dating profile.
You can, and that's why I said we're logical people. The ones that sleep with everything that moves, of course, never. Right? Mm-hmm. Then you have the handful of, okay, you know what? Got a good head on your shoulders, but I still don't know who you are. And this profile doesn't do anybody justice. Let me meet you in person and have a coffee. I think you are in your pursuit to find diamond. You are not mining for it, okay? Because you think it's just going to drop on your lap. Many times you actually have to sit down with people, connect with them. And then you'll realize, wait a second, this person is a lot deeper than the profile said. Maybe they say shit on there just to, be funny or whatever. You never know. So when I say go out, meet people, don't have the mentality that, I skimmed their resume already, not a good fit. If they are in the maybe bunch, maybe pile, you do yourself the favor because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, well, based on that thing, I weed out people who try to be funny on their face. If it's a nice humor, if it's a humor that is rightfully placed into that sentence, I get it. Great for you. But if you look at their pictures and they have their boobs hanging out and they're taking the pictures from an angle to show cleavage, that's an automatic red flag.
Did I not already say?
No, but does
take
it
away
make
the losers.
That's why we're only left with 1% of the people I swipe right on.
No. You are too critical, I think. You're not perfect.
I'm perfect. In my opinion, I'm perfect. I just drink my drinks too fast. Like, that would be the only thing that is wrong with me.
Would you want someone to look at your picture and say, I don't like this. I don't like that.
They can. I don't mind.
That becomes superficial.
No, it's not. Because
yes, it is.
Okay, God gave you 2 eyes and 2 ears, right?
Yes.
For purpose, right? You gotta use these knowledge and everything that you've been taught and you learned over the years to see what kind of a category this woman is placed in, right? And in my head, I have 5 silos, right? The first 4 are no, and then the last one is maybe. So I put these people in these silos, and that's left. Even if they are 89.999% there, I still swipe left on them, which means no. Because I don't I want them to be over the 90% threshold, 95% hopefully, before I can even reach out to them and say hi.
All I'm saying is you will not know. Okay, take the top 20%, meet them. Because when you meet somebody in person, all the walls come down. You get to see who they are. And maybe it's completely different than what they wrote in that stupid profile. And besides, when you say no, there's 4 no silos and 1 maybe, why don't you have a yes? Why have you created this in your mind that everybody is not good enough. The best is like maybe. Why?
The maybes are the ones I go out with and I engage in conversation with. The rest of them I don't. I think in my world of, it's like going to a job interview. They first skim through the resumes and they put the ones that are shitty in another pile. They just don't look at them anymore. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, 90% of the people that I see the resumes of, they don't fit the bill of Artie. Like they don't fit my life vision. Even though they may be nice, like kindness is just one thing. Love is just one thing. Intellect is just one thing. You have all those things for it to work, right? As I was getting a divorce and Nona said, I love you. I said, I love you too. Why are we doing this? She said, love isn't the only factor. And at that point, I thought it was because I'm like, well, I watched Disney and love is all that. No, love is not the only thing. You have to have drive, ambition, intellect.
Also, I'm saying you don't know that with 200 words, dude.
Actually, if you should sign up for one of these things and do this just as a social experiment. Go there and see how many of these will you actually, not based on your physical needs or, oh, she's good looking or like she has a nice smile. Actually, and then go out with these people and see how their profile matches them in real person, in real life. Because from what I've seen, the ones who put shitty things on their profiles, that's even better than what they're in real life. Check it out. Like they don't undersell themselves on their profile. They don't. They oversell themselves. And once you meet them in person, you're like, oh God, like what happened to the intellectual person that you had said you are? Because you're not. And obviously you're not. Like if you ask them, do you know who like, let's say Eckhart Tolle is or, Tony Robbins, who? Are they on a show? Like they upsell themselves on those profiles. So if you two ever jump on one of these dating apps, you'll realize that everyone's overselling themselves. Filters galore on the pictures. People lie by their age. Women lie by their age. It's like she is 50, she's put 40, right? And then you meet them, you're like, oh, honey, those pictures are 10 years old. I cannot waste my time with the 90%. And I know you say, well, go out with them. What happens? They're all over. I'm overselling myself. Like you think I walk around with a black, Armani boss suit every day? No. Look at me. So,
first of all,
you got to eliminate people left and right as quickly as you can so you don't waste your time.
There's no such thing as an Armani boss suit. Okay, let's get that clear. It's either Armani or boss.
Maybe it was half and half. Armani up top,
Armani
boss
top, yeah.
on the bottom.
So, okay, no, I get it. I get it. You have to filter through people. But even the ones that are actually in the maybe pile, that's my problem with you because even on the maybes, you're like,
Because why would I? Go through 3 levels of purification, right? The first, why are you laughing?
He has an answer for everything. I don't know why.
But I do. I have 3 levels of purification.
No. How about you learn? You learn. You have to be actually a person that always learns. Stop with your 3 levels of purification, 6 levels of silo bullshit.
5 silos.
5 silos.
As
4 no, 1 maybe.
As long as you're in there, maybe you owe it to yourself. Just as a journey of life, to just meet them in person. What the fuck is wrong with that? Sit down with them, have a goddamn coffee. Hey, how's it going? Don't talk about Tony Robbins for a change. Just see who the person is. Dude, I tell you what, the wealth is not in necessarily knowing quotes about Tony Robbins. It's about how they treat you, how they talk to you, how they value you, how they respect you. So please, stop looking at resumes. That's why they have interviews. Do some interviews.
You only interview the top 3%.
Then interview the top 3.
That's exactly what you said. They have to be over 95% qualifications before I can even reach out to them.
I talk to you all the time. Oh, this girl, look at her picture. She seems nice. But yeah, what if I don't like her when I meet her? So maybe I should not go out with her to begin with.
Go ahead.
I have a story that's kind of random, but I feel like I have to tell it. There was a time when I worked at AMC Theaters and I had been promoted into management and we were doing our first round of hiring and I'd never hired anybody before. And my extremely attractive boss was like, Amanda, this is when I worked at AMC Theaters, was like, Amanda, we're going to do hiring together and I'm going to let you make some of the decisions. And I just want to see your process and how you do it. Now I'm like 22. I don't know shit from shit. And I'm like, you got it, boss. So I pick all the top 3%. I mean, this is for AMC theaters.
Top 3%.
But you're looking for the top resumes. Like, even at AMC, you want the most educated. You want the people who are selling themselves the best. So pick those. Then we narrowed it down by who's arrived, whether they're on time or not. And I'm like, okay, here's my thing. If they're late by 1 minute, they're effing off my list.
Yeah.
And my boss was like, don't be so quick to do that. So everyone shows up. Everyone's on time except for one person. I don't think I should say her name. Not that she'll ever hear this, but
Shelly.
we'll call her Shelly. So Shelly doesn't show up. And I'm like, oh, a no-show. So I conduct the interviews. I go through the paper. The first one I go through the paper and I'm like, okay, in my mind, I'm already circling certain things. They have like, if they answer this question with one of these things, you circle like the green. If they answer with this keyword, it's yellow. And if it's with this keyword, it's red. So as we're going through, we're doing this and we go through a few of them and my boss is just sitting there like listening and nodding and like letting me take the lead. And I'm like, cool. As soon as everyone's done, Shelly shows up almost an hour late for the interviews. And I'm like, I have my little radio. They're like, someone's here for an interview. Who is it? I'm looking at the resumes. It's Shelly. I take it. I'm about to put it in the trash. And my boss says, have her come up. And I'm like, idiot. Because obviously I'm 22 and I know what the F I'm doing. And this guy who's been doing this forever, fool. Shelly comes up, comes through the door, shakes both of our hands, has a seat. And I start to go with question number 1. He says, no, I'm going to take this one. I'm like, okay. He does not pick up the paper of questions. He says, Shelly, why are you late? And she says, I couldn't get a ride. Like my mom was supposed to take me, but she forgot. She went somewhere else. He said, you understand how that looks with the way you're presenting yourself for the interview. And she says, yes, I know. I apologize. I take responsibility for it. It wasn't right. He said, why'd you show up? And she said, because I need a job and I know I'll be good at the job. He said, really, why should I hire you? If you're late, an hour late, and you do all this. And, you know, frankly, you're not really dressed for an interview. Like, you're just not giving the best impression. And I'm sitting there, like, in my seat getting, like, feeling like I'm going to throw up. Because this direct kind of conversation is really throwing me off. And she says, I understand. I'm dressed like this because I need a job. If you hire me, I'm going to get promoted. I'm going to do the job so well that I'm going to be in your top management team. Probably within 6 months. And he hired her on the spot. And she was in our management team within 3 months.
Wow.
She was exceptional at the job. And I thought about that for a long time. I thought, okay, that's the exception. Then I started to realize as life goes on, the most important people in my life have been exceptions. They've never been the ones who I thought on paper were going to be great. It's always been the outlier. Exceptional people show up breaking the rules. And it reminds me of your story because you have such a process. To Kevin's point, I feel like if you let someone break the rules or you break your own rules and just take the time to invest in someone who doesn't even look like, they don't look like they're in the top silo and they don't make the 3 purification processes, but maybe just by showing up and giving them the chance, they're going to blow you out of the water in a way that you don't expect.
Okay, so I 100% get it. When you're hiring someone age 22 to
That's it.
dish out popcorn.
I tried. God.
Popcorn, great, right? I get it,
I
right?
guess.
You're not taking much of a chance on a person getting paid $10 an hour. I think for me, $8.50. So for me, I think ever since I've been divorced, my number of non-negotiables has gone up tremendously, right? Because if I bring someone and I become romantically involved in them and they have to come inside my house and meet my kids one day, I have to make sure that I'm doing the responsible thing, not just for myself, but for them. So a lot of the things on my list, for example, I said, for example, they have to be motherly or a mother, right? They have to have a certain kindness that, like, you know, exudes.
A what?
Kindness.
Okay.
You have to have, you have to understand like what being an entrepreneur is. Like, you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be your own boss, because the life that I live is different than someone from 9 to 5. Oh, honey, we got 2 weeks of vacation. I got to put in my time request now. I don't get that stuff, right? So a lot of the people that do come into my little circle, the fifth silo, before the purification processes,
The 3 layers of
right?
purification.
I have to make sure that like they understand that. Some of them say, "Oh, I understand. My ex-husband was an entrepreneur, but he was always late. He was always canceling events. He was always working," which to me says, no. Even though he was an entrepreneur, you don't understand and you don't have respect for that. So my 3 levels of purification and the 5th silo is there to not just give me someone who I can be happy and proud to be with, but also the kids are going to be the recipient of that person in their life, whether they like it or not. So I have to go that extra mile. It's no longer, oh, she has a cute smile, let me go meet her. No, like at this point in my life, a cute smile, yep, great, but if the profile doesn't say anything about entrepreneurship or liking or being spiritual or having the tendency to want to read or being inspired by things or listening to a podcast, I cannot spend my time sitting down for 4 hours having coffee with someone I know will not.
4 hours? What kind of coffee are you drinking?
Dude,
he said, go back.
My 4 hours was, I don't know, 1 hour getting ready, driving there, 1 hour coming back. Couple hours. Look, I get it. I'm just saying, in this life, the way you're just whizzing by everything, you're not seeing any flowers along the road. Yeah, all you're seeing is blur.
Right.
I don't want you to do that. I want you to slow down. Just forget. You don't have to think, oh, is it going to be my future, whatever, life partner that now my kids have to meet her. Just look at her as don't interrupt. Look at them as friends, just as people that you can have in your life to add more value.
But they are there to find a soulmate and get married.
I didn't say go with the intention of being friends.
No, you just said think of it as being friends.
No, I said at the least that the worst that can happen.
But you can't be friends with a total stranger. Like I cannot pretend like
you make friends. How do you make friends? You go with
introvert.
people you know already.
He's an introvert.
Then you're your friends already.
There are a few people that I've talked to online or on the phone over the past 6 months that I've become friends with because we have things in common. The things I just talked to you about, that becomes a friendly thing.
But you've already set walls around this thing that
it has to be. I have to have those.
No, you don't.
Limitations because I don't want to waste my time and bring someone into the household because they're just nice.
See, I think from the beginning of this conversation, your goal is always the end game. When they bring them into the house, I said something completely different. Drink your drink slowly so you can enjoy your time. Go out with these people. Get to know them. Nobody's coming to your house. Get to know them. From the beginning, say, what? If they don't meet your silo and purification process, just say, what? I'm not looking for a relationship, anything serious.
But
I want to get to know you. What's wrong with that?
I can go on a hike, go join a church, and make friends. The intention behind me dating people, there's an intention. Like I know you're married, you are 20 years separated from this whole thing. You are looking for friends. Right, you can find friends.
I just said
my intention behind this whole thing is not to waste money on driving to all over the place or having coffee or random lobster dinners. My intention is to find someone I can click with, and I can fill that silo of mine, and I can live a good, happy life.
I get that.
So the intention,
like an arranged marriage would really have worked for you. You would have thrived in a time when your parents were like, you, my princely son, are marrying this princess. You guys can get to know each other after the fact.
Not after the fact. I never said after the I said
in your mind you have to marry them
in your
mentally
head,
and then they'd all
the
unfold.
end game is
and I'm
here.
like that too, so I get it.
And this is all you see. This is all you see. Black and white.
Kevin, let me just have my moment of zen here.
Zen?
You showed it's un-zen, bro.
Okay. I think everything is subjective, right? Everything is subjective, including you wanting to date someone, let's say. One day, once you're divorced, this whole talk about, we got to have 50 dates a day and to play the numbers.
I didn't say
that will not
Did
work
I even
for
say play the numbers? I said from the people that have gone into your silo, make an effort to meet them in person because you will find things that were not stated.
Yeah, I got
whether good or bad.
I got an email from Bumble.
Does this thing work?
I got an email from Bumble saying
I'm listening. Don't worry. I'm
I got an
learning.
email from Bumble said like over 150 people have liked you in the past month.
Of course, they want
Screw
you back.
that.
Of course they do, but that's fine. But to me, it's like 150 people. Maybe one of them will work for me. Maybe one. Like that goes in the last silo and through the 3 layers of purification, right? But to me, it's like I don't play the numbers game. Some people say just swipe left on anyone who has, or right on anyone who has boobs and like a nice smile, and go from there. I'm like, that's the worst way of there's no intention behind it. It's like my intention is to find someone who will sleep with me. That's the intention of that. My intention is to find someone I can be happy with and be friendly with and have a relationship with.
And that's why I talked about your last silo. I didn't say go through the first 4 and pick from those. I said the silo that's a maybe. Make an effort to meet these people from the maybes, because in person has a completely different vibe than on paper. Exactly to her point. Whatever her name is, Shelly was late. If it was strictly paper, you say screw this bitch. Done.
That to me that should have been done.
But she showed. Okay, that's
Doesn't matter.
And I think
But she ended up being better than all of our employees that we hired that day, who on paper were superior.
Right. So one of the purification methods, the 3 layers of purification. That I used before what do you mean? Oh God.
Okay.
So I have a conversation with them over text or phone, right? I see how engaged they are with me and what comes out of their mouth and whether or not they ask follow-up questions or engage in something. I don't want to be interrogating them, right? So if I'm texting and it's a maybe, all of a sudden I start texting or messaging them or whatever, and they don't reciprocate and they're not as involved in this conversation as I am, gone, right? I don't even wait to talk to them. If I get to talk to them, level 2, afterwards I go online and I find out where they live. I ask them, like, oh, you live in, let's say, Oceanside, California. What's your last name, by the way? It's interesting, like pronunciation. And so then I go Google them and I pay the $19.95
For background check.
for background checks
Okay.
to make sure that like they don't have any liens, any bankruptcies, any arrests, any DUIs on the record. Because if I'm going to start going down to, let's say, Oceanside or Santa Barbara or whatever, I want to make sure that this person is not a, deadbeat
killer
person, right?
Yeah.
And the third one, finally, before I go out with them, like I have to check with myself to see if the draw is from here and here, or if it's from down here, right? If it's from down here, I know I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. And I know a lot of guys would say, well, fuck it, just start with this and it'll work its way up. No, to me, it works the other way down, right? I think about it. I see if I'm starting to like have a draw. And it's not love or anything. It's just like, you're drawn to this person. It's a magnetic, whatever. I never go with this. And as that movie, and we've referenced that quite a few times on this show.
There's something about Mary.
Something about Mary. The best time, the most clarity that you have is after the man has, right? Because then that need goes away. And then if you still have a draw here, that's something to explore. So these levels of purification.
Can I just say that's like thinking, I want to go to a restaurant. I really want to go to a restaurant and get a cinnamon bun. That's what I want more than anything. But let me eat first and then see if I still want the cinnamon bun. Yes.
Wrong.
So now I'm going to eat a taco, fill my stomach,
Wrong.
meet that need. Oh, look, I don't want a cinnamon bun anymore.
Because I'm not going to
Wonder
go.
how that works.
Because I don't want to go there, have sex with them, and then I pleasure myself. And I'm like, oh, I'm no longer horny.
I'm
right?
just saying the cinnamon bun is part of the experience. I mean, the sexual draw, to eliminate that just seems odd to me.
But people make the worst decision when they're
I think this part comes still. You don't slow down to smell the roses
Or taste them.
It's my
no,
deviated septum, guys.
Okay, what I think this side of the conversation is about is you can't have those filters and purification processes, but you're doing yourself a disservice. And one day you're going to look back and you realize that you have been too strict, too stubborn to see that actually I can smell the roses. Like what she said, want to go have the cinnamon bun at the restaurant. You are not making a decision.
It's not the same. It's not the same analogy.
You're not making a decision for the end of your life. This is not the end of life decision that you're making. 4 years down the line, where am I going to be? It's today. Today. You feel like it, go fucking do it, dude. Go enjoy. Go smell the roses. Don't think like 2 years down the line, where is this person gonna be? And because of the action I did right now, it's gonna end up in like a place I don't want it to go.
If you go through a divorce, right, of something that you thought was perfect and nothing, I mean, there's always room for improvement. Don't, like, I was just like living in a fantasy land. But if you go through a divorce with someone that you spend 15 years of your life with and you thought everything was good, and then you divorce, something that I never thought would happen to me, right? Getting back into that thing is going to be different from someone who's like married and just has like, fantasies of like having a more social life, than someone like me who has been hurt and, burnt and all that stuff. And I have to be careful as to who I get close with.
And that's exactly it. You're gonna be careful, okay? But
you minimize the
but you're
chances.
going with the intent that this is gonna be a long-term thing.
That is my intent.
Listen to the depth of this, what I'm saying. Okay? Let it sink in. You are going into everything now with the intent of being a long-term, serious relationship.
That's my intention, yes.
I think you are saying...
And that's where you're wrong.
You're saying, I have put up these silos and purifications to protect myself from being hurt again.
Yes.
And Kevin is saying, I totally understand that, but the process that I'm recommending may actually help you learn to trust yourself again.
Exactly. It's opposite of what you think. Don't go out looking for the next partner of life. Look for connections. That's it, dude.
Because you're not the same person that you were then.
You keep
You're new.
referring.
You're a new person.
Yeah, you keep referring to somebody you're gonna bring home in 2 years to meet the kids.
Yes. That's my intention.
You
though.
just said you got out of, so you have trouble being committed to somebody because you're afraid of getting hurt. So therefore, don't look for that person right now. Look to connect with just people that are in your bigger silo, your smaller silo of almost at the purification process. Just connect with them, dude. All you have to do is
connect with them, but I know that 90% of the women on that app or those apps, their intention is LTR. Long-term relationship. That's their intention. I can't go into I can't hit up a woman, 35, 40, whatever, and has 2 kids. She's been broken. She's been spit on, cheated on, all that. I can't be the next jerk going, let's just, pretend like I'm in the same boat as you are. I want to be true to myself and do them a favor.
And that's why I say in the beginning,
eliminate myself.
In the beginning, you say, even though that's everybody's intention to be LTR'd, right, long-term relationship, it is hard for me to say that sitting here in a cross over me and say this is the beginning of that journey, because I don't know who you are.
No, but that's why the purification processes, the 3 steps, and the 5 silos, the last one that people fall into, that I have to do that to weed out the ones that are not going to be, because my intention is to find someone for a long-term relationship. Their intention is the same thing. I have to be true to myself now, because we're not on a friendship app, right? If we're on a friendship app, we're just going to have coffee app, let's just meet together and go
it's a dating
hiking
app. It's not a relationship app. It's a dating app.
But there's no relationship apps out there. There's no relationship. This is as close to Hinge and Bumble, or Hinge more. People go because they want to have a relationship. They don't go there just because they want to become friends. So I can't do that to somebody. I can't waste their time or mine, but I just want to be friends. If I want to be friends, I should go sign up for the, annex workshop at Glenelg College and meet someone through their, whatever workshop.
Maybe you should do
the
that.
actors workshop.
Maybe you should do that.
Exactly. Maybe you should do something like the hiking and the church group you talked about.
Yes.
Do that.
I want to find friends that way,
because
but I can't find friends through this app.
Okay. Actually, you are going to find good relationships through these things because they are not on a dating app. They are actually being real people around you.
Yes.
You guys are doing stuff together.
I agree.
I think your chance of finding somebody real for LTR is better in real life than on an app.
I think you're right, 100% right. I always like to meet someone
That's a 4th number.
in person or in another means, not just on a swipe right or left basis. However, I'm saying, since we're talking about dating and why am I go through this thing so fast and eliminate 160 people and just put one on this silo is because I know what their intention is. I know what my intention is. And I have to be a gentleman. I have to have self-awareness and not just think about here or like getting out of a lonely like Saturday night. I need to like think of it long term, that if this thing does happen, because I've gone through all these channels to eliminate people, the 3 of them that fall through those, 3 levels of purification, I have to give it my best to make a relationship or go into it with a relationship in mind. I can't go into, oh, you're just going to be a friend. Okay, good for you. She's not looking at that from that perspective. She's looking at it as an LTR. I want to meet my next husband. A lot of women say, I want this to be my last first date. I want this to be like, they all have that mentality.
Okay, that's fine. I know you're trying to be nice and a gentleman, and you should not go for the wrong reason. I get that. But anybody that says, I want this to be my last date, are you fucking kidding me?
My last first date.
Okay,
no, it's not. This thing is like Disney movies all the time. It's not Disney movies that you guys, both of you watch all the time. People want to make sure
that's a convoluted, demented perspective on a dating app.
It's a line from a freaking movie.
So then you take that line to heart, and that becomes your. I'm not gonna.
No, that line doesn't mean anything by itself. But when it comes on someone's profile, what are you looking for? I cannot just say, oh, that's just a freaking line from a movie. Fuck it. She wants to have a one-night stand.
So you mentioned you want a long-term relationship. Those women say, I want a long-term relationship. Where's the disconnect? And then earlier you said, maybe I don't want one because maybe I'm not ready. Are you ready for LTR? Are you not ready?
I said, if it's the right person, yes. If I have to work overtime to like look beyond certain shortcomings, then no.
You know what? When we were helping you look a while ago, me and Amanda would say...
Amanda and I would
see a profile, say, oh my God, she looks good. The stuff she's saying, her quote is brilliant. You're like, no, I don't really like this smile. You sound like Jerry Seinfeld. Like you find like the most obscure things to pick on.
What's the deal with Jerry Seinfeld?
Like, oh, is the left eye a little bit smaller than the right eye, I think? Yeah, go the other way. No. So I'm saying, if that is your attitude, you're never going to enjoy any your life or enjoy meeting new people.
In Farsi,
because your purification process is a left eye, right eye measurement thing, which I don't know what is. Actually,
that's not part of the purification process.
That's part of the silo process.
In Farsi, we have a saying that the weed, the grass, whatever, has to be sweet in the goat's mouth, right? So even though we look at the weed, we're like, oh, God, who's going to eat that? This animal will eat it because to them it's sweet, right? For me, I have to like be attracted to that person on multiple levels. And the first one is obviously visual. If one eye is bigger than the other one, could be a thyroid issue, right? I'm kidding. But I have to like look at them. And if I'm attracted to that person, yes, you guys aren't going to be sleeping with her. You guys aren't going to be kissing her or like picking parts out of her teeth. I have to be the one.
Have you met somebody that is perfect in every way that is not a prostitute, a high-paid prostitute? Have you ever met? Have you seen a picture? Really?
Many. And I've swiped right on them and they haven't swiped right on me.
Okay.
Right? Which is fine. Maybe they're looking for like a, Don Juan on a yacht. Like, which, by the way, I don't want that if that's what their mentality is. A few of them have come back after they've gone through this whole thing and said, hey, Artie, it's me again. Yup, let's get together because my 6 years of finding other men, was a slap in my face. I came back, which is fine. I don't take him back because you had your one chance. Can't be a second option and become your first option. No,
why is it that when we go some places together or we're walking down the street, I'm like, oh, she looks good. Like, no. I'm just saying your initial.
Should I really answer that question?
Your initial response is always no.
Because your taste in women is much different than my taste in women.
Today there was a young lady helping us, and she said, "Oh, she's attractive," but you're like, no.
In my head, I thought about 3 things, right? And I always think maybe I overthink things, but
oh no shit,
maybe.
I thought about her career choice, right?
Oh my God.
which led me to believe she's probably a lot younger than I
How do
am.
you know she's not in a master's or PhD program?
I don't know. But then I thought to myself, maybe she's still starting her life. Like, this is like assumption. If you're working your way up in the ladder of corporate world, being a waitress, at a diner is probably on the lower part of that totem pole, right? So I said to myself, okay, she may be too young. This could be her career, right? And third of all, I'm not that attracted to her. So for those reasons, I'm out.
Yeah, I get it.
Right? But if we were at, let's say, one time we went, to Nordstrom, and there was a beautiful woman working behind the L'Oreal counter. She looked older. When I took in my kids, they're like, oh my God, I have 2 boys too. One's 4, one's 5. Then that's more in line with who I want to get to know. Because if it happens to go somewhere, I want it to be at least on the right path. At least they have the kids. They are within my age range of 19 and a half years.
To close this whole conversation, all I'm saying, 2 things. Number 1, slow down, smell the roses, because life is going to pass you by. I'm not just talking about chicks. I'm talking about your food. I'm talking about trips you go on. I'm talking about the drinks you drink. Take your time, okay? Because the world's going to go fast, and you're never going to remember any of these.
Okay,
Number two. Small eye.
Sorry, that was funny.
Small eye, big eye, okay? And this is one of my biggest points. Me and you, we're not perfect. Look at these nostrils, dude. Look, it looks like a fucking 2-car garage. If some chick was gonna look at me and say, oh, he has a big nostril, is it left is bad or right is bad?
Left is no.
Left is no.
Right.
Left it on me, left it on
Which,
you.
by the way, I think it's a conspiracy theory because people have made it so that if you're right-winger, if you're Republican, you swipe right, which means
I'm
yes.
not done with my point.
Okay, go ahead.
I would hate it if somebody decided to be that superficial, to say, oh, your nostril is big. No. That's
Okay,
why I say,
first of all, when we're doing that exercise,
big eye, small eye chick, okay?
when we're doing that exercise, it wasn't about the size of the eye. Okay, I was not attracted to that person that you guys were showing me.
Okay, and
So I had to find a fault, and like as a joke, I'm like, oh, okay, the right eye is smaller, and then you guys are like, are you serious? Just to get a reaction. But honestly, I know I'm not perfect. I'm not looking for perfection either.
nobody's perfect. Nobody's
Wow.
perfect. And so the bottom line of that point too, which you interrupted, was you will find diamonds in people that may not look 10 out of 10. You will find diamonds that makes up for the other
100%.
stuff.
I don't.
10 times
I'm
more.
not looking for 10 out of 10. I'm looking for somewhere between 6.5 and 8.5. Right?
That's cool.
Which is fine. I mean, that's what I think I deserve. But when you guys show me someone that I don't see myself being with, just because it has 2 eyes and 2 boobs, to me, I'm like, okay, well, let me come up with something just to like eliminate that person. So I pick on the eyes. I pick on the dimples.
But I have known you. I've known you all your life. And when you look at women, you always say things like
No,
that.
because if a person I'm really interested in, I go blind to all their faults. You know that. Yeah. So for me, thank you for both of you nodding and just shutting up right now. So if it's a person I really like, I don't care how their dimples look like, how their eyes look like, how promiscuous they are. I'm like, oh, she's perfect.
I'm just saying, tone down the filters, dude. Enjoy life.
I can't. If
Okay.
you were also divorced,
I'm talking
with
about
a
every part of your
single
life.
kid.
Every part of your
let's
life.
talk
dude.
about this.
I got the divorce
You
part.
just said the filter thing. You're
like
like,
filtering everything in. Oh, New York. Why would I want to walk around a dirty town that smells? Dude,
I didn't
enjoy
say that.
it.
I
Enjoy
did not
it.
say that. I just said
You said in the back of a taxi cab, I got to put my luggage. You know
Because-
I'm right. You
okay.
know I'm right, dude.
by a show of hands, okay, Kevin not included. A show of hands, how many of us actually enjoy the last day of our trip? Not you, okay? That you have to check out by 11 o'clock. You have a plane at 4 o'clock that may or may not leave on time because there's weather conditions in the Midwest. Or there's going to be traffic on the 10
I think
freeway.
this question misses the point completely.
No, it doesn't. It's right on point.
It's overthinking.
A lot of people would rather get home at a decent time, not waste. Like, half-ass over there, half-ass over
But
here.
that's isolating specifically a part that most people would agree is not pleasant. Most people would agree that sipping on your mimosa is superior to chugging.
100%.
Most people would agree that.
I'm not saying no.
Okay, yeah. So
Most people would say, "Oh my God, I'm in Cancun for 5 days. Saturday, let me come back in the afternoon flight, so I have my morning, walk on the beach one last time, have a sip of martini, whatever I want to do." But to you, no, I've seen you get on a plane at 6 in the morning, means you have to wake up at 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why not? Always ask yourself why not.
I was saying that very thing earlier, wasn't I?
Were you?
Yes, at the table.
Oh, about the okay.
So you said it. You heard it here first. So closing thoughts.
He just did. He just made his 2
sorry.
points.
I'm at
Okay.
2 points.
Yeah.
You go.
My thought is, I don't know about y'all, but I plan to remain a student of life and act like I don't know much, because every day
Which you
I'm
don't.
realizing I don't, and try to enjoy everything, the processes of everything. I understand your points, and again, as someone who flip-flops between introvert and extrovert, depending on how well I'm taking care of myself, I get it. But I also know that the moments that I will remember on my deathbed, and I know this because I've already talked to my dead self, are these conversations and the breakfast we had today and the drives we take around and everything we've done. Even in the office, doing absolutely nothing. Those are the meaningful moments. And that reminds me that maybe I'll have weird, boring moments with randos, but those might be the gems of my future wisdoms and
Look, she walked in here when she went to work here. We're 2 randos, right?
randos.
We got to know each other. We became best friends.
Besties.
That's my thing. If you had shown me her picture, say, "Oh, which will be your best friend?" I'm like, no, not really. No, seriously. If I went just by a picture and just like, because in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. No, probably not. But when you get to meet somebody, then you're like, wow.
My turn.
Yes.
Before we
Go you.
Okay. Obviously, there are gems everywhere, right? Everyone has good qualities in them. Everyone has good qualities, right? Even a serial killer could have a good quality.
Definitely.
Like, he could be a good cook.
Look at me.
He could be like chopping up people, but he could be
Dexter.
making a nice, meal out of them,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not saying there's no diamonds in nobody, right? That's double negative. I'm not saying there aren't any diamonds inside people. There are definitely diamonds inside. Some of them like little 2-carat ones. Some of them are 20-carat ones. We all have diamonds. That's not the point. If you are a divorced man with 2 kids, like DP,
Yep.
right? The next relationship you get into has to be in a way that doesn't just serve your immediate needs down here, it has to serve a lot of different needs, right? She has to have a career or have a job that can support and sustain the next 20, 30 years of life together. You have to have at least kids or be motherly, right? Be in a way that like you love kids. Some of these women, they look great. They have great things. And then it says, do not. So you have to be picky when you got to be picky. It's very subjective to different people. Like for me, it's different. I can't like say, okay, let me dig that diamond out of this person. No, show me the diamond, because I don't have time for that. I'm a busy professional. I'm a dad. I'm all these things. Don't fucking I don't have time to go through this dating phase. Just find me someone.
Arranged marriage.
But yes, you're right. I need to slow down, smell the roses. Smell the roses! Smell the roses like Hillary. And I got to make sure that I enjoy life, because I don't know how many more years or decades or minutes I have. Oh!
God, call the doctor.
Triple Shot Mindset.